Let's discuss. Hey everyone, it's Rachel back again with another video, and today I'll be checking out a new track from Victims that features Elijah Witt from Cane Hill. I'm very excited about not only the track, but to see the feature as well. This is a band I covered their last record on the channel. I keep on top of their singles as best I can here. I've been familiar with their discography since before I started my YouTube channel. They continue moving in a direction that is more and more exciting to me. They always have interesting features and stuff as well. Sometimes people I don't know, like that is how I found Strangled before they broke up, which is, obviously then how I found Orphan. A feature like this I'm familiar with and excited about, that sort of thing. So I will link all of their social media and the video I'll be using in the reaction portion of this in the description. I'm going to check out Bitter Pill featuring Elijah Witt. Other than that, I'm going to stop talking and we are going to get straight into it. Pissed with. Victims, Bitter Pill featuring Elijah Witt. Let's discuss. I was wondering if Witt's part would be singing, screaming, both. Victims has done some more recent stuff that is in a much more melodic vein, though I guess like when you look across their discography, they've never had a release where they don't go off like the sound of the full release, whether it be like, you know, tapped into what this outro sounds like with the lo-fi. They've done some stuff that falls into more of a rap type of sound. They've done stuff that ventures outside of that sound that most of us associate with them when you think of Victims. So I definitely don't expect the same thing from them every time, especially when it comes to a full album. I'm usually expecting at least one track on there to be something much different. But in terms of the stuff I'm talking about with their most recent releases, I think that they had like 2 tracks that were really a more and I don't want to say a more emotive approach, like a more slowed down emotive approach than I was expecting, because they go for like a lot of that, like for me, I associate a lot of like the emotive stuff with Victims to be like grief and anger and those types of feelings. But with their last record, especially towards the end of it, I felt like they were doing songs that showed a different side of them and stuff. So with Witt's feature, I was like, they definitely could do something like that. I thought I heard some harmonizing that may have been foreshadowing like a softer feature, and then that ended up totally not being what was going on. It was like the more aggressive side of Witt, and really this track and the breakdown itself, and then up until that more lo-fi outro that you get, it has that edge to it, that not even just vocally, but the drops and the breakdown, all of that was, but I felt like that the possibility of it not going that way was certainly there. Well, it's not like they're in a predictable zone, I don't think, especially having features like this where, you know, the vocalist could either sing on the track or they could scream on the track, or they could do both. You're just not really sure, I suppose, is the point that I'm getting at. So the tracks that I was talking about would be like New Face, Same Loneliness, the closing track of the album, Suddenly Everything Changes. Those are the more softer, melodic, emotive sides of Victims that I'm really referencing when I'm talking about that, not necessarily like, you know, the songs that Meredith has done vocally. Those also have a much different approach to them, but yet I would still put them like as an emotional song, you know. For some of them, it really depends on what we're specifically talking about. Anyway, so with that being the ending of the last full-length record, it really had the possibility to be something like that. And I saw Witt recently saying that, you know, he's looking at more singing on the EPs and the more recent Cane Hill releases, other than a form of protest. Sorry, that took me a minute to think of. Other than a form of protest, a form of protest is very tough track for Cane Hill's sound, but on the EPs, a lot of singing, a lot of them tapping into the new side of their new metalcore label. So I wasn't really sure, but then you have, you know, as the singles were releasing for Volume 5, you had tracks like my favorite on there is still Carefully Caged, which featured Darius from Spite. That track is aggressive, it's tough. It's got that side of Victims to it too. So I'm loving both sides of what I'm talking about here. I don't want to say both sides of Victims because, as I've really been rambling about for the last whoever knows how long, I wouldn't say they have a predictable like this sound or this sound. There's a lot of gray area for them, or potential for them to go into different sounds as well. So this really having that punch to it, which for me right now and what I've been listening to, my playlist and stuff, that's perfect for me. I think either way it would have went on the playlist if it had been a Witt feature that was more singing, because I love his voice. It's very dynamic for me. There's not, you know, I don't love it more when he sings or when he screams. It's all equal for me with Cane Hill. So anyway, those are my thoughts on the feature part of things. The rest of it does have, like, when you pay attention to the instrumentals and some of the chord progressions, and like in the beginning you have, like, you know, the panic chords and some of the, you know, the energy that it brings, but there are moments in this where it does feel kind of in that, like, you know, more, a little bit less chaotic, more melodic type of sound, but while still being a very heavy track. So I like this a lot. Carefully Caged, still my favorite thing that they've done in recent times, but this track is going to get probably close to those number of plays. I did a lot of listening to the songs that I had mentioned at the end of Volume 5, New Face, Same Loneliness, getting the most of the two. But I really liked those tracks. So as Victims moves forward, I'm really excited to see if they'll do more of that, if they're going to get really into that pissed sound. What they'll do is exciting to me, because I think they're doing the sides that they're showing, which are they're there are quite a few, especially when you get into the more R&B or the okay, anyway, that I'll save that for when we get to a full release from them. But for this single, Aggressive, it seems short to me, which is a good sign. It means I wanted more of the song. Yeah, it'll go on the playlist for me. Nothing I really would have wanted differently. I do hope in their next full release they'll continue kind of experimenting with whatever they're feeling like doing, whether it be more, I don't know what I would even, I'm thinking of the instrumentals to New Face, Same Loneliness, and the chorus there, and it has like this, I don't know what subgenre I would even label it as, but I do hope to see a little bit more of that from them on the next full release. But single-wise, this was a spot on for me. So as I mentioned before, all of Victim's social media, the music video I used in the reaction portion of this video, all of that will be in the description of this video. You can also find my link tree, which will have the Patreon link. I've been working a lot on the content for that. We've got monthly live streams. I've got recaps for every month with my favorite songs, breakdowns, choruses, riffs, albums, EPs, all of that stuff. I go over it on a stream. I make a post for it. I have a document for it, that type of stuff. And then offering different stuff for different tiers. So if you're interested in seeing what those offerings for each tier are, you can check that out there. The link for the Discord server invite will also be there. The Discord server is where the community is based for my YouTube channel. We've got a lot of really lovely people in there. Just a music lovers community. So if you're interested in joining, checking that out, that will be there. As always, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it.